Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday morning, April the 3rd. A lot to talk about this morning. We continue to have a powerful storm system to deal with, a dynamic springtime storm system that has been impacting much of the northeastern quadrant of the nation. Unfortunately, whenever you have a dynamic storm this time of the year, it usually results in some severe weather, including some tornadic activity. Indeed, we had that yesterday, really stretching all the way from Texas to Ohio. There were severe thunderstorms and some isolated tornadoes as well. That severe weather threat shifts to the east a little bit today, perhaps a little bit weaker than yesterday. Nonetheless, we'll have to watch for strong to severe thunderstorms, let's say from around the Delmarva Peninsula south along the eastern seaboard. Meanwhile, to the north, in the colder area, significant snowstorm over places like Wisconsin. They continue to have snow today in the upper part of the Midwest, places like Wisconsin and Minnesota and Michigan, down to Iowa and Illinois, and accumulating snow is on the way for much of the northeastern part of the nation, the northeastern U.S., especially upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Significant snow, perhaps a foot or more in some of those higher elevation locations up across the interior northeast U.S. from later today through tomorrow. Very active weather pattern. Wanted to start off, however, with a look ahead to Monday, solar eclipse day, just to kind of take a quick look ahead at the prospects for cloud cover on solar eclipse day. This is the forecast map of the 500 millibar height anomaly pattern midday on Monday using the ensemble run of the GFS. And by the way, the ensemble runs of the Euro and the Canadian pretty well match this, in that there is a strong high pressure ridge basically centered over the Hudson Bay region of Canada as of midday Monday. So this is high pressure aloft. We're looking at 500 millibars, and there is this extension down to the south along the east third of the nation here that looks like it will indeed be the case as we get into midday on Monday. Again, the solar eclipse day on Monday. So my first thought here is that the good news is there is certainly no widespread strong storm system that such as what we're dealing with this week. If indeed this kind of a pattern occurred early next week, it would wipe out a large section of the nation in terms of the viewability of that solar eclipse. So that's the good news, that there is certainly no large-scale storm system. In fact, we have this upper-level ridge. However, it's hit or miss with the clouds. Right now, I would tend to lean towards it's more favorable looking in the northeast U.S., places like upstate New York, New England, and more questionable, let's say, from Ohio southwestward down to Texas. However, I would say at this vantage point, there is no part of the totality path that I would completely rule out from this vantage point. In contrast, there's really no part along that totality path that I would guarantee clear skies at this point. So it's again, the good news is no large-scale storm system to deal with from Texas all the way up to New England, where that totality zone is. And I have a cloud forecast map. We'll go to the next map here. This is what I've posted this morning at arcfieldweather.com. If you go to the home page, you'll see this article on the prospects for clouds for solar eclipse and the rest of the information needed for the solar eclipse on Monday. This is from yesterday morning forecast map by what is called the National Blend of Models. NOAA puts together kind of averaged together numerous models to get this NBM. This is the cloud cover percentage prediction for midday or early afternoon on Monday. The bluer here up across the northeast, generally in that 5 to 35% cloud cover zone for, again, cloud cover percentages here. And then we get to see some grays, basically Ohio, southwestward for the most part, down into Texas. And this is that 100% totality path, that zone right in this area right here. This is a little bit higher prediction for cloud cover percentages, again, from Ohio down to Texas. And again, I Generally agree with the idea that it looks a little bit more favorable from this vantage point out across New York and New England, a little bit more questionable Ohio down to Texas, but I wouldn't rule out any area yet in this totality path here. There again, the good news is no large-scale storm system, so we'll see how things evolve over the next few days. Of course, the solar eclipse takes place Monday afternoon, April the 8th. Now, we looked at this map yesterday. This is a watch and warning map put out by NOAA, and I'm looking at the country as a whole just to point out this wide impacting storm here that we're dealing with. Again, nothing like this early next week. That's the good news as far as the eclipse goes. But look at all this going on right now in the northeastern quadrant of the nation. Continuation of some snow across Wisconsin and all the way down into Illinois and Iowa right now, with some high wind watches and warnings as well. Meanwhile, in the warmer air to the east, we have a lot of flash flood watches and warnings throughout the mid-Atlantic region and up across the northeastern part of the nation, upstate New York and New England. All kinds of winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, and anywhere from upstate New York across Vermont, New Hampshire into Maine, there can be a foot or more of snow in this particular system from later today through the day on Thursday. This will be a heavy wet snow, as it has been across the upper part of the Midwest, and anytime you're dealing with a heavy wet snow, that deals with the increased possibility of downed tree limbs and downed trees. In other words, isolated power outages are a possibility here as well. So a springtime snowstorm for much of the higher elevation regions of the interior Northeast that is focused on upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. By the way, one last point I want to show here, one last thing I want to show here. If you click in on the new Vermont, New Hampshire region right here and take a look at the breakdown in those particular areas. I don't know if I've seen this in the northeastern U.S. If I have, it hasn't been too often. An avalanche watch right here. This is focused in on New Hampshire and Vermont. I don't actually see that issued anywhere, but either the National Weather Service had that or they're thinking of adding that, but an avalanche watch in some of those higher elevation locations of Vermont, New Hampshire area. Well, let's get back to the continental U.S. here in terms of forecast maps. This is using the conventional run of the GFS from 0Z last night, and just a tremendous upper level low here situated this morning over the upper part of the Midwest. And when you have that kind of upper level support, it's what we call a dynamic storm, a lot of upward motion that helps to generate strong to severe thunderstorm activity. Again, yesterday, strong to severe thunderstorms extended all the way from Texas into Ohio, and numerous tornadoes along the way. That shifts a little bit to that threat of severe weather shifts a little bit to the east today. Let's say from Delmarva Peninsula, maybe just to the south and east of D.C., all the way down the eastern seaboard. Not quite as high of a threat today. Nonetheless, I have to watch out for strong to potentially severe thunderstorms along the eastern seaboard today. Now, let's move forward here and watch this system as it slowly churns its way to the western Atlantic. Here we are all the way into tomorrow and then into the day on Friday. And there is a lot of cold air aloft with this particular system. So not only will you get accumulating snow upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine out of this system, you could see some snowflakes down into, certainly down in northeastern PA. The Poconos, for example, can get some accumulating snow as well, but maybe some snowflakes down into east central PA, maybe even southeastern PA. Also, the atmosphere quite unstable, quite cold aloft. That suggests to me that there can be some hail or some snow pellets, which is also known as graupel, associated with any heavy shower or thunderstorm that develops anywhere along the I-95 corridor region. Hail or graupel can take place in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, pretty much anywhere in the Mid-Atlantic region over the next 36 hours or so. We're talking later today, tonight, and tomorrow. The overall atmosphere gets colder and colder, and again, that could lead to hail or snow pellets with this particular system. Now, let's keep moving forward here. It sits and spins all the way into Saturday morning, just then pushing off the New England coastline. And here comes that ridge starting to show up in earnest across the south central part of Canada by the early part of the upcoming week. And we alluded to that early in the video with respect to Monday. Here we go, Sunday morning, finally exiting here, and again all the way out to solar eclipse day on Monday. This is midday Monday, and here we go back to the beginning of the video with that upper level ridge centered over Hudson Bay. This is Hudson Bay right here in Canada, and an extension of that upper level ridge all the way down the eastern third of the U.S. Well, let's take a look at the surface forecast maps, again using the operational run of the GFS from 0Z last night. Still, some snow falling today across Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin was really hard hit by this early spring blizzard. A 982 millibar low, a lot of wind associated with this as well. And the snow extends southward somewhat compared to yesterday into Iowa, into Illinois. Chicago could get into some snow shower activity and some strong winds as well. Meanwhile, in the warmer air to the east, a lot of rain, continuation of the threat of floods. DC, Philadelphia, New York City corridor, and there can be embedded strong thunderstorms in that heavy rain anytime later today and tonight, and even on Thursday there can be some thunderstorm activity as well in the eastern part of the nation. Now we move forward here, and precipitation starts to really intensify, and secondary system starts to form by this evening right over the southern part of New Jersey, and colder air really starts to develop in the upper part of the atmosphere, and then it kind of lowers and lowers as this secondary takes place here. And again, significant snow on the order of a foot or more possible upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, from later on today through the day on Thursday. And again, you could see hail or snow pellets in any heavy shower or thunderstorm all the way down the I-95 corridor to Philadelphia to DC over the next 36 to 48 hours or so. And still later on tonight into the day on Thursday, we'll have a reflection of that initial primary low centered at this time over Ohio. Its advance to the north ends with that development of that upper level ridge across Hudson Bay, Canada. It can not move north. It grinds to a halt and slowly churns to the east, and here we go. The secondary becomes the main system by the time we get to tomorrow morning, and some of this area here will just get absolutely dumped on in terms of heavy wet snow, maybe 2-3 inches an hour in some of those higher elevation locations of interior New England, and even down to the coast of New England you'll get some accumulating snow. And again, accumulating snow can extend all the way into northeastern PA, places like the Poconos, where they've had a decent amount of snow this past winter season. Can get in on the action as well. This is tomorrow morning. Let's go ahead. A very unstable atmosphere, a midday tomorrow, afternoon tomorrow. You can see a thunderstorm even on the backside of this low in the colder air mass on Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening, all the way down to DC, Philadelphia, New York City. And again, any one of those heavy showers with thunderstorms can produce hail or snow pellets, what we call graupel. Now we'll move forward here. It stays unsettled right into the end of the work week here, as on Friday, midday Friday, still seeing some lake effect type snows just downstream of the warmer waters of the Great Lakes here. This is Friday midday. Still, again, a lot of snow shower activity through the northeastern quadrant of the nation. Look at this thickness level, 528. That's very chilly for the first week of April to say the least. That's a very chilly air mass here, and it really sticks around right into the upcoming weekend and finally starts to settle down across the northeastern states by the time we get to about Sunday. A very slow moving upper level system. Now we'll go ahead And here we are on Sunday. And then Monday morning, this is solar eclipse day, midday on Monday. And again, this is overall a rather innocuous looking pattern. That's a good thing. No strong storm system to deal with really all the way from Texas to New England, such as what we've been dealing with the last couple of days and what we'll deal with the next couple of days. So that's a good thing. That to me tells me there's no place that I would guarantee will be cloudy at this vantage point. Now, doesn't mean there won't be clouds around. Indeed, there will be plenty of mid-level and higher level clouds in this path zone, maybe a lot of partly sunny type conditions here. But again, the good news is that upper level ridging will tend to dominate and no strong widespread storm system to deal with early next week. But that's several days away. Clouds are very fickle. Really can't get a firm handle on it until several hours before, let alone several days before. Again, just stay tuned to the unfolding of this overall weather pattern over the next few days. But for the next couple of days, a big-time snowstorm for interior sections, those higher elevation sections of the northeastern part of the nation. Upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine can get a foot or more of heavy, wet snow. And watch out anywhere in the Mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S. for hail and snow pellets or graupel over the next 36 to 48 hours or so in any heavy shower or thunderstorm that indeed does develop. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.